Hello there, I'm Colin Breckles with Castlebrec. Heiko.
And Heiko Voigt from Harbour Light in Halifax.
And Graham Akers from Brytech Systems in Vancouver. Colin, what are we here to talk about today?
This video, my friends, is updates. We got a bunch of them for you, good stuff. And you may also notice that two of us, myself not included, are wearing some snazzy new C3UG attire. They got shirts made, and the three of us are going to be together in person very soon. I hear there's a shirt for me. So today I'm like the kid in Sesame Street that's bouncing a ball when all the others are doing hula hoops, wearing a Castlebrec shirt, but it is what it is. Let's get at it. So in the spirit of updates, Graham, our first one is?
Our first one is that due to the completion of the divestiture by IBM to HCL for all of the products that we know and love and want to talk about, we have been told that as IBM champions, we are about to become HCL masters. I imagine that there'll be more information coming on that when we get to the factory tour.
Right on. And as you mentioned, Graham, the acquisition is complete. So all the products from the former IBM Collaboration Solutions brand have now been moved over to HCL. And within HCL, there's a new group which is called HCL Software. And underneath HCL Software, there's a part of a division which is actually called HCL Digital Solutions. And this is the new home for everything that belonged to the former IBM Collaboration Solutions software, which includes a lot of products. Colin, I think you have an update for that as well.
We do. So it's all things ICS. So these are included but not limited to HCL Domino. They're all HCL now, not IBM.
That's
HCL
right.
Domino, HCL Notes, Traveler, HCL Connections, ICEC, which I guess is HCEC. Same time, Verse, and the digital experience products. So those used to share a brand with all the other ICS products and had been moved out of that brand at IBM. Well, they're back together because in HCL's estimation, that's logical and it does make sense. So that's WebSphere Portal and formerly IBM Web Content Manager. So that's Portal and Content Manager under the HCL Digital Experience banner. So back together in the same family. Let's talk about the transition to HCL. Graham.
Right. So today is July 3rd, and the acquisition was announced, or the completion of the transition was announced on July 1st, literally 2 days ago. Of course, in Canada Day here, I did my best to try and stay off the grid, but you couldn't help but notice that there was a flurry of communication blogs and certainly all over social media, especially people who weren't part of the original agreement partnership between HCL and IBM that saw a bunch of IBMers move over to HCL. So there was a lot of people that were working within IBM who continued to work with IBM until July 1st and then moved over. And let's also recognize that there's a lot of community friends who didn't make that transition and are either working in other roles inside of inside of IBM or elsewhere. But here we are, 48 hours essentially later. There's already been an all-hands call with the group of ICS champions to just talk about the HCL strategy and how things are going to go forward. And even this morning at 4 o'clock Pacific time, there was a call with everybody that signed up to be a business partner. So HCL is communicating really quick, very transparent and open. Richard Jeffs has been leading both of those calls, and HCL is doing its level best to kind of almost take the opposite approach of IBM in terms of being very open, which is consistent with what we've seen from them over this time. So I've been very impressed that even 48 hours in, there's already been two major calls with a lot of people to communicate what their strategy is. Maybe, Heiko, you want to touch on a little bit of what's been communicated in those conversations?
Yeah, I mean, there was not only communication, there was not only two calls, but also we saw a lot of focus on the process side of things. So for a lot of the business partners and the customers, there were the support issues with IBM have been a big concern over time. And I'm happy to say that the HCL support portal is up and running. And as we speak, or as we spoke over the last 2 days, all of your support tickets and open cases and whatever you had in that area from IBM had been transitioned over. There have been a couple of hiccups in communication up and front, but nothing really serious. I think that's all sorted out now, or will be shortly. I, for myself, have all of my customers reassigned and all my open cases and stuff reassigned in the support portal, so I can work with those things already, which I think is a great achievement. And also there, like, was communication was always open and transparent, but from HCL, we were always able to ping people about using email or phone calls or whatever. And they were really good at really mitigating problems that might have been occurred over time. Also, the customer portal is already open, so you can register as an as an HCL customer and see your data that got transferred from IBM. So there's a lot of data that needs to transition now from IBM to HCL, obviously. So if not everything's in place already, it will be over the next couple of days. But also, I can only encourage people to engage with HCL if you're missing something. They're really quick and reactive, as Graham was already mentioning. They're pretty happy to help and assist and are really responsive in every angle of the communication. So I think from my perspective, as also the contract portal is already open, you can get your quotes as a business partner working with them. So a lot of good things from my side. So Colin, what are your impressions? What did you experience in that?
I'd echo that. And what we're actually telling all of our customers is there's a big transition. There is an incredible amount of detail moving from IBM over to HCL. This is a very large business that's being moved over. Expect a few bruises, especially around support cases and things like that. If you're dealing with a business partner, don't worry about us. Behind the scenes, if we take some bruises, that's kind of our job, is to simplify your vendor relationships. We've always done that with IBM. All of us will keep doing that with HCL. But most importantly, trust HCL to get it right. They've proven themselves, guys, so they will. They'll get this right. If there's a few bruises, we can all smile and shake our heads and say it is what it is. It's a big transition, and they're going to get it right. That's all. So let's talk about event strategy. We've learned a little bit about the emerging event strategy. Graham?
Yeah, very quickly. You know, the most important thing to understand, I think, is lots of people have, at least those of us that have been in the community for a long time, harken back to the days of Lotusphere and all of the fun that we used to have down at the Dolphin. And at this point, people are questioning about, you know, are we going to do another Lotusphere? HCL has been pretty clear that that's not in the short term, that their strategy is much more on supporting the user groups and being open to traveling to where those user groups are and sharing their messages through the user groups. So making attendance more accessible to more people, easier, you know, instead of asking everybody to travel to Florida once a year. Although in January, can't complain about going to Florida, but you know, it's a heck of a lot easier for people to go to the Czech user group or the Nordic user group or CollabSphere or Engage or wherever. South America, I know there's user groups in there, and Japan and everywhere else. And the HCL team are committed to traveling to those. So, you know, lots of amazing user groups around the world, lots of people who are doing a lot of work to help and bring the message to those local regions, and HCL is going to continue to travel to do that. And again, make their announcements there. So the next one that's coming up, I suppose, isn't necessarily user group, it's factory tour. But maybe that's, well, go ahead, Colin, explain a little bit about the factory tour.
Well, very soon, in a couple of weeks' time, the three of us are among those invited to attend the HCL factory tour in Chelmsford, Mass. And I think they aptly named it because it felt like a software factory to the HCL folks that moved over and experienced the new HCL building as IBM was moving over to HCL. So this is an invitation-only event where we'll be meeting with the developers and all the people that work on the products and the processes. So, and we'll be learning their updated vision and strategy and coming back with great news. We'll share everything that we can possibly share that isn't NDA'd. We always respect NDA, of course. It's going to be a great event, and the HCL gang know how to make things fun. They've had themes for most of the things they've done in the past, and you've seen the stuff on Twitter and elsewhere, like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory theme, Star Wars, and more. This time, it's Toy Story. And we expect a bunch more shenanigans amidst the important business and technology updates we'll get. So we'll have more to share around that soon. So, gentlemen, any closing thoughts?
Well, yeah, from closing thoughts. Well, I'm still curious on what we're going to see on the product roadmap side. For the first 3 days that we're in this acquisition now, or after the deal was finally designed, is more on the process side, which was to expect because business is actually it's necessary to run your business to do everything else. But I'm really curious, and I'm looking forward to the factory tour to really get an update on the products that HCL was not able to talk about yet before the acquisition was done. So I'm looking really forward to the product development decisions that they have on the plate for Portal, for the digital experience part, and also for connections, of course, which will be, hopefully we'll see a lot more in that. So that's what I'm really looking forward to. But we'll probably have to wait another 2 weeks for that.
Yeah.
Good point. Yeah, they said long before this date, they were able to have their internal meetings to decide what they wanted to do with it, but they couldn't talk about it publicly because they simply didn't own the products yet and the transaction hadn't closed. So they apparently are very prepared and have a lot to share with us, which they couldn't share yet, and we're really eager to hear that.
Yeah, for me, it's what you just said, Colin, the sharing, right? The thing that we've seen in the time period where the partnership between HCL and IBM started is a lot more openness, a lot more sharing. Certainly the staff members that worked at IBM that went over to HCL had a larger presence on Twitter, where perhaps before they were told that they shouldn't be doing any of that. And so just that open communication, being able to go up to developers at the factory tour and talk about specific items and share feedback. I mean, we had asked the developers at Lotusphere and Connect and what have you, but it just feels like there's a much greater opportunity to have your voice heard when you have a specific question about something to do with the product portfolio. So that's really something that I'm looking forward to. I think the other thing quickly is that we need to be prepared for changes in all of these products. I mean, the messaging has started around, how do the products evolve? Richard Jeff certainly, even in the last 2 days, has been talking about how they're going to work together better. And there's a few technical reasons for that, but just from a business standpoint, they need to be more open and collaborative inside their products and outside their products. So to see what the changes in the tools are going to be, I think, as we've said, they haven't been able to talk about that until now. I'm really looking forward to seeing what that message is at the factory tour, and prepared for it to be different from what maybe we expect or would think based on the history of working with these products for as long as we have.
Well, we're gonna wander into rampant speculation at this point. So why don't we leave in close? Of course, afterthoughts. I got one more, and that is that HCL, in their slides, they've constantly said that they want to make a commitment and keep a commitment. To their credit, they've done exactly that. So we'll expect more of the same from them. And with that, we're going to wrap. So please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon, smash that bell icon so that you get notified when we drop a new video, and we'll have more for you soon. Thanks for taking the time to be with us today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye now.